Thank you very much. Congratulations on everyone who secured their degree today. In big hand, I think. Someone started it already, so give me a big hand. Annoyingly, now this week, you'll probably have loads of people welcoming you to the real world. Now, as a squash player, I've never lived anywhere approaching the real world, but I have travelled a lot of it and chased a rubber ball around courts in far-flung corners of it. And if there's one thing that I've learned that I would share with you today, it is that you don't need to be the best at everything. Pick something that you're passionate about, that you're strong at. You've already started that process through school, through education, through university. Take that a step further and become the best that you can be at it. Specialize at it. Break it down into small areas. You're already unique as you are, but take that even further and make an absolute niche for yourself in that wider world. I wish I had that advice a little bit earlier. I probably only realized that at age 28 after suffering a career-threatening shoulder injury which required surgery and had me off court for 9 months. Now, I sat down with my psychologist in that period wondering what I could do, and we had a little review of where I was at in my game. I was top 10 in the world at that point and had moments, 1 or 2 moments of breakthroughs, including, as Dan mentioned, in this building itself, in its former glory. However, I wasn't consistently able to challenge the top echelons of the sport. And when we analysed it, it was because I was a bit of an all-rounder. I was sort of between 6 and 8 out of 10 at all of the small facets of the game. I didn't have one area that I truly stood out in. So the simple answer was, how can I go away and expect to be the best player in the world if I wasn't the best player in one of the minute areas of the sport? I was told that Jessica Ennis-Hill, the famous heptathlete, Olympic gold medalist, she spent a far greater proportion of her time practicing her hurdles or her long jump, her stronger events, rather than her perceived weaker event, the javelin, because that's where she could score greater improvements in her overall score. I was told David Beckham went away and practiced thousands of free kicks after training. I was going to mention that Harry Kane practiced penalties, but we won't go there this week. So I identified my physicality as one potential strength, my volleying as another one. Now, the physicality was easy. I was injured for 9 months, so I simply went in the gym, worked on that physical fitness because I had a period without any tournaments, a greater uninterrupted period without tournaments than I was ever going to get if I'd have been fit and on the tour. The volleying, we decided that I was going to spend 20 or 30 minutes after every single session dedicated to the volleying. It's a very human thing to do, practice things you're not so good at. It's also very British to not celebrate our strengths. But instead, there was a mentality shift. I practiced my strengths. I played to my strengths. I created game plans around my strengths. And all of a sudden, my strengths were feared around the squash world. I became now renowned for my volleying, renowned for my physicality. And within 2 years of coming back from that surgery, I was world number 1 and world champion. Now, it sounds easy standing here and saying that. There were a lot more elements to it than that. Of course, many, many years of hard work went into it before that. But I would say that was the biggest and also the final piece in my jigsaw, and something I would love to have discovered slightly earlier in life. So my message is, don't worry about what you're not good at. None of us are perfect, but keep working on those strengths. If you're working in a team, find people who are going to complement you and have contrasting strengths, so together you'll become even stronger. Don't apologize for working on things you're good at and for celebrating them, because they're ultimately going to be the things that people celebrate in you and are talked about when you're moving on to the next level in that wider world I mentioned at the start. So congratulations to those of you who have graduated today, and I hope this is exactly that, the start of that greater journey towards discovering those ultimate strengths. May the strengths be with you. Thank you.